even get to cross.
Hey guys, how's it going? And in this video I'm going to talk about my newest game that I made in Unity called Pong. My 2D Pong game is the full name. It's made after the original Pong game, very old game, and it's just I remade the game with some improvements. So that's basically the game. It's really basic, and yeah. So basically I'm just going to talk about what I used to make the game and what the process I took to make this game, so maybe it'll help you guys out when you guys make your games. I don't know, hope so. And yeah, so I'm gonna start off what I used. So all I really used was Unity. I did like none of the modeling or anything required like Blender or any other software. Like all I had to really make was the little middle line and the enemy and the player on the left and right, and that's pretty much all. That's like game. Modeling wise, that's all I had to make. So I didn't really use a external software for that, but that's pretty much all I really used was Unity. That's all I used. And the process I took was I basically made the player first and the enemy, which was just simply making a new game object in the scene, making two new game objects in the scene and just making it look like a little like Pong, like I did in Pong. And then I made the middle line, so I basically got my scene ready. That's what I did first. It just took only like a few minutes, and then I went over and started scripting, because that's really all I needed to do left, because this game's really simple to make. What I made first was the player, so just relatively simple. And after I did the player, I'm gonna play the game and show you guys. Actually, I should talk about this while I'm playing the game, so I'll keep you guys entertained. Oh wait, the music is kind of loud. I'm gonna have to turn down my volume first. Sorry about that. Come on, go down. Thank you. And yes, let's start. Alright, so the player. So it simply just goes up and down with the W and S keys, and that's what I did first. And then I made the collision detection. So whenever it goes out of the screen like that, it kind of like pushes it back. See, and then I made the ball, and that was probably the hardest out of this whole game, because I had to make it so whenever it would hit the here, I'm just gonna open up the script actually, just so I know what I'm talking about. It was kind of tricky. I kind of wanted it to go in a random direction every time it hit the player, or yeah, I wanted it to go in a random direction. So we're gonna open. I already have this opened up. So basically, I made a method called random start direction. So randomly it starts at a random direction when you start the game, and every time it hits the player or the enemy, it goes in the opposite direction. And so then I just, here in the update, I just checked if the enemy or player scored, then it would reset back into the middle. So that's basically all of that was. So I kind of made it harder than it had to be. I kind of overthought it. That's why it seemed harder for me, but it really was simple at the end. I was like, oh wow. So that's a common thing you guys are gonna experience during game development. At least for me, it happens. So like, it looks harder than it is, but it really isn't that hard. So that's what I figured with the ball. And then I made the enemy, which is not hard, not that hard. I kind of took two different approaches. So one approach I did, I'm gonna open up right here so you guys can see. See, it's really short. So one approach I did was it just followed the ball. So it's simple. That's probably the easiest way. Is just make it equal to the ball's position. But that would you couldn't even beat the bot. You couldn't. It would always beat you, because it would just follow the ball. So it always knew where it would go. It predict where it would go. So you would never beat it. So I took this different approach. I'm not gonna explain it right now, but it's simple. It's not hard at all to understand. So it's actually beatable. So that's two different approaches I took for that, and the second approach worked for me. And then I made these two scripts are for the border detection for the enemy and player. So it's behind the player and the enemy, so there's like a trigger in the behind them that whenever the ball gets there, it would add 1 to the score, and then it would display it with the UI, the 0 and 0. And then I did the UI, and then which is 0 0, which was really not hard. And then I made it so it would change scenes at the end when I press play again. I'm gonna fast forward this so I can get to the end. Alright, so here I am at the end of the game. It's 10 is the highest. It is highest is the winning number. So I made it so when you press play again, it starts the scene over. It loads, so it loads the scene back over. So that was pretty. The last thing I did was add the music, which is simple. I got it off of No Copyright Sounds. You can search up their channel. It's all no copyright music. Actually, the music that you're hearing right now in the background is actually the song. It's really uplifting. That's why I used it, so it keeps you engaged in the game, because this Pong can get kind of boring. At least when I played the original, so I kind of put music in the background that would keep you locked in. So that's pretty much for this in the state it is right now. That's pretty much all it took. And this is kind of like a prototype too, because I'm also going to be teaching you guys how to make Pong once we learn the basics of Unity in my Unity Basics series. So you guys are actually going to be making this game, so it's going to be pretty neat. It's a very simple game. It only takes like a couple days, and then that's pretty much it. And this version of Pong has a lot more improvements and looks better, so you also get a plus for that. Yeah, so that's basically the future of what you guys are going to be making. So there's a little sneak peek. And we're also going to be adding on to this once we get further along. But yeah, so that's this video, really short. I just wanted to show it off, and you guys can play it and download it from the sites in the description. And if you guys want to actually play it yourself, go ahead down there and play it. I recommend it. And yeah, guys, see you next time. Stay awesome, and peace.